This is Joe, and I'm with Rob and Amy today.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
So we are catching up about what we've been watching during lockdown. So we thought it'd be interesting just to connect with you guys about. We're going to talk about shows we've reconnected with that we've seen before, but we've started watching again during lockdown to help us through these times, and also new shows we've gotten into. So thought it'd be fun to catch up.
Yeah.
So how you doing, guys?
I'm okay.
Good.
Excellent. I thought we'd start talking about shows we've gotten into again since we've over the last year, shows we've reconnected with.
The last year's been a very, very strange year. So
It's
I
been
don't
a
know.
long year.
Yeah, I think being locked inside. Do you know? After being locked inside for so long, the one thing I didn't want was to involve myself with was shows where about people being locked inside. I don't know. I'm not. So I was always looking for something where people are outside and doing things.
Yeah, there are plenty good shows that just take you outdoors.
Yeah. So, one of the things I did reconnect with over the last year is a show that I really, really, really like. But it's a very, very slow show. You can't marathon it. Marathoning it is the wrong way to watch it. And it's Aria.
In the mood for it.
Yeah, it's Aria, which kind of is the queen of slice of life anime. It's a science fiction series that doesn't look science fiction at all. It's basically set on Mars, which has been terraformed to become a water planet called Aqua now. They've got their own version of Venice, and it's about gondoliers.
Gondoliers on Mars.
Yeah, it's such a placid show, but the one thing I love about Aria, well, aside from the slow pace and, the characters are adorable, everything like that, all the characters for some reason begin with A. I don't know why. It's based on a manga called that has the name Aqua, and Aria. Sorry, but
So just before you go ahead, Rob.
Yeah.
So when you say gondolier,
yeah,
is that like? And you're not saying that's just an aspect of the show. You're saying that is the main focus of the show.
yeah, gondoliers on Mars, female gondoliers on Mars, in specific, right? All of the characters, their names begin with A. I have no idea why, but the thing I love about the series, because there's 3 seasons. Well, there's actually a fourth series as well, which wasn't as good as the first 3 series. There's Aria the animation, Aria the natural, and Aria the origination. And in the first series, it introduces kind of the city of New Venice, Neo Venezia. In the second season, it basically introduces the world of Aqua and all its wonders and all its mysteries, like the Kate Sith and various other things like that. And then in the origination, it basically takes all of the random threads from the first 2 seasons and ties them up neatly. It's the kind of show where if you just take it at 1 episode a day, maybe, well, whenever you're just feeling stressed and you need something just to calm your nerves and settle you down. Some people smoke, some people drink tea, some people may have a coffee, some people go for a walk. I sit and watch Aria.
That's cool. It sounds like it's very escapist. Then
Yeah,
is that a fair?
totally
thing?
escapist. So totally escapist. It kind of, that weird. Do you remember Clark's Law? Any sufficiently advanced technology looks like magic to people less advanced. It takes that and runs with it. So things that look like magic are actually technology based. And Akari Mizunashi is the main character of Aria, and she joins Aria Company on the world of Aqua. And Aria Company only has 2 employees. It only has the person who runs the company and the trainee gondolier. And it's all about her struggles and her journey to become a prima undine, as they call it. And it's about the friends she meets along the way and just exploring the world. And it's, in a time of lockdown, it's one of the few shows that I would heartily recommend because it is just so fantastic and so escapist.
So what you're saying there is the real Martian gondoliers were the friends we made along the way.
Yes. Also, Arya does a wonderful thing. You know how with a lot of shows you have a static opening that doesn't change from one show to the next? You know? Arya does away with that at the beginning of the show.
I enjoy the ones where it's updated to reflect the ongoing story.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that. See, what Arya does is like way beyond that. Every opening is part of the story, lays the foundations for what is going to be in the episode, and every opening is unique. So, you know,
That's nice.
That's really. Is it the music's the same, but the
music's the same.
animation styles around it. Like,
The music is to die for in the series. It is just so soothing and
What
calming.
sort of music is it?
It's obviously it's you know a lot of the vocals are in Japanese, but it's very calming and very soothing. And if I had to describe it, I'd say the music feels a bit like the sea. You know when you stand at the seaside and you basically just watch the waves come in, come in or go out, and then come in again, and then go out again, sitting on the dock of the bay. It feels a bit like that. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I actually have the music for Arya on my phone, and sometimes listen to it while I'm walking because
it sounds very very different and very calming, as you say.
Yeah, and I mean one of my favorite characters from the series is Athena Glory. She is a prima undine, has an amazing voice. There's a very famous scene where she does Baccarat, and just at the end of the scene, she doesn't realize just how many people are enraptured with her voice, because she's dumb as a brick. It's like she has all of this God-given natural talent and ability, but she doesn't have a clue about anything.
Thanks, Rob. So, Amy, what show have you reconnected with?
So, with the lockdown happening, we can't get out and go and see and hang out with friends anymore. So, what we've been doing here is we have one friend who we would normally meet up with and play a load of board games. Instead, we've been having Zoom calls together where we all load up She-Ra and we like sit there and we like 3, 2, 1, we all press play on Netflix at the same time. And we've just been rewatching all of She-Ra because it's her first time. She's never seen She-Ra before. So we've been going back through She-Ra right from the very first episode. And we are currently halfway through season 3. Just watching about 2 or 3 episodes a week.
Yeah.
But it's a way to do something with a friend who you can't see directly. And yeah, because originally she would sort of come around and we'd do things, maybe watch something together, maybe play a board game. So in lockdown, just get on a Zoom call, watch this, and it's been so much fun going back and rewatching all of She-Ra.
I mean, there's a couple of interesting things there. I think it's really important to connect with people. As much as you can, like using video conferencing or even the phone or anything you can. But also, if you do regular calls, like, no one is really experiencing anything in the current situation. So there's some activity or show to base it around that. That can be a lot of fun.
It's really stimulating because it gives us stuff to talk about, especially when one of us hasn't seen the show before.
Yeah.
And it's nice watching something with someone who hasn't seen it and seeing their experience of seeing it for the first time. So the introduction of various characters, watching certain secondary characters really come to the fore, like Scorpia by season by season 3, she's really, really coming out as a major character in her own right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great to see all of this again through the lens of someone else seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
She-Ra was wonderful the first time round, and it's still wonderful going back to it.
I've been addicted to like reaction videos on YouTube, so I totally know what you're talking about. Like, I mean, that's become like a big...
Yeah.
With me, it's like Adora being Adora for like 5 straight minute compilations and stuff.
See,
Or compilations of every time Catra says, "Hey Adora."
yeah. It's weird you say that, because I've been getting heavily into reaction videos on YouTube as well. I don't understand why I'm so fascinated by them, but they called me.
I'm not a reaction videos person. They do nothing for me.
I think it's because
Probably.
I'm at work at night, and at night when there's nobody else around and it's all quiet, and and there's just literally, it's just total silence. I think I just need the company. It's another voice having emotions.
But yeah, so She-Ra has been wonderful to go back to. And it has that long, steadily building plot, which you can really appreciate when the whole thing is there, and you're watching it on a fairly regular, steady basis. And yeah, you're just seeing it just take all the world building behind it and just unravel it all for you. And there's so many characters you just love. It's
Yeah.
That's one of the things about it, that the characters, even as it shifts focus to certain different ones, that you care about all of them. It even makes you really invested in the antagonists, which is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. We've done a separate video covering it, but it's a real model, I think, for antagonists, really, for the shows to follow. Like having that kind of depth to it, and having such iconic characters as well.
Entrapta, of course, remains my favourite. I think one thing with the show is a lot of people have characters in it that they can see themselves in, and Entrapta does that for me.
Yeah.
Like, you could sum up each character in 3 words, like the personalities of that, but not in a shallow way. Sorry, but like they're so distinctive and relatable. Definitely. I mean, the thing I've been reconnecting with is kind of the opposite of what you both said towards the start. No, it's like I don't know why, but I find weird comfort in seeing apocalyptic situations on screen. So outside of animation, like I watched Chernobyl for the first time.
I've been watching Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
And actually, I've also been like playing The Division, which is literally about a pandemic.
Yeah.
So
there you go. It's kind of like what sent Contagion back to the top of the movie charts or whatever. It's like I think it's 2 levels. It's like, firstly, before I tell you what my choice is, like firstly, it's this there's a weird comfort in. It's kind of inspiring to see people in this bad situation and how they cope with it, and inspiring for yourself. But also, when it's like an even worse situation, it's like a slightly weird comfort there as well. I mean, not I'm comparing, but like the whole world's been taken over or whatever. So anyway, it's like so Neon Genesis Evangelion is a show that I revisited. Came on Netflix, so it's an opportunity to do so anyway.
They don't get much more apocalyptic than that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's I find it weird comfort viewing. I think it not only was a comfort viewing, but on a very personal level, I think, I don't know, like now I'm in my 30s, like I find myself getting more emotional about things and connecting more, seeing new than when I rewatch things.
Oh, so when you first watched it, you were like, "Oh, cool giant robots fighting monsters."
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed by. I mean, if you've not seen it, you definitely.
And now you're just, wow, psychological trauma.
Yeah,
I can relate.
It's a robot show, and it hints like the fact that Shinji's not into what they're trying. He doesn't just become a hero straight away. It's quite jarring.
Yeah.
Like, this transition and shows you it's not a typical kind of show. But as the season goes on, that trauma comes out. So I did recognize that when I first watched it when I was at uni.
Yeah.
But the resonance of it and the characters impacting me is different now.
Yeah.
And then with like, yeah, watching it during like the first lockdown after that terrifying speech by the Prime Minister saying, you can only go outside once for exercise, and it just like, it was like damn, like this is the situation we're in, It was just like I found it weird comfort viewing to rewatch that whole season.
Yeah, I'm staying out of this conversation. I'll get into more trouble.
Yeah, I understand.
I remember being really into that. It's so long ago now. So long ago that they've remade the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't that impressed with the remake. I don't.
I haven't got around to seeing it.
Well, I mean,
I hear there's a bunch of interesting things with different timelines.
there are.
A lot of the fan base is very mixed.
Yeah.
Different reactions to each installment, I think. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of the
But I
Yeah.
mean, this is something that has a history of that, like with how the series ended and then how the film redid that.
Yeah. See, it's interesting because there are people who think that is the true ending, and then there are people who went and kind of spoke to Anno and found out he was really angry at the reaction from fans to the original ending that he put together, and that the end of Evangelion is the biggest middle finger in animation history that any director has made to a fan base.
And it was total perverse joy to rewatch End of Evangelion, which is like was already one of my favorite movies. I mean, that probably at uni that resonated with me even more. I think that actual movie itself. But yeah, like that's also Netflix, the movie, and but you can. It's a weird top 10 movie to have when you can only watch it having seen the 26 episode season first for it to like have that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why I've been punishing myself, but yeah, those kind of shows make sense in a weird way.
This is fine. Like,
Yeah.
I spent the first lockdown watching the entire 12 Monkeys series. I've had a thing for anything involving pandemics this year, even when I went into them not knowing they involved pandemics.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I've gone into so many new shows this year, and I just end up finding, oh wait, I get like 5 episodes in, and you find out, oh, in the alternate history of this universe, there was a pandemic. So really, you realize how widespread a trope it is.
Yeah.
When you spend this long watching stuff in lockdown. Anyway, though, yes, you were saying we should get on to shows we've watched this year, new things we've got into.
Definitely. So we'll go around in a circle again. So Rob, would you like to kick us off?
Well, I mean, on your suggestions, I watched the first season of Carmen Sandiego. It's the one that's in my head because we were talking about it before, and I like it. I do like the series, but as I've said to you guys earlier, I just have, because my niece is, when Disney used to do a show called Kim Possible, and there was another show that kind of ran alongside it, maybe a little bit before Kim Possible, called Totally Spies. And my niece was right in the age group to be wanting to watch those.
In the demographic.
In the demographic for those shows. And so, yes, I have seen all of Totally Spies and all of Kim Possible because my niece insisted on watching them. Okay, so I am very familiar with Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable and that whole world of Kim Possible. And while I was watching...
Are you familiar with Carmen Sandiego?
To a lesser degree. I've watched parts of the original animated series of Carmen Sandiego, but not all of it. So I am more familiar
Did you
because
play the games?
I was about to say I am more familiar because I played the games. And so
Yeah.
that's the thing. Having played the games, I've gone into Carmen Sandiego with some background knowledge of Carmen Sandiego. And the first season of Carmen Sandiego was giving me very big Kim Possible vibes. And to a lesser degree, Totally Spy vibes, but very big Kim Possible vibes. And I thought it was Tigress. I thought she was the Shigo character until Papercut turned up. And then I was like, oh no, she's totally Shigo. Zack and I've forgotten her name. I thought they were the unstoppable character.
Ivy,
yeah, I keep forgetting her name.
But we were talking before about which show inspired which, didn't we? Because
it's weird because that's where it gets confusing because obviously Carmen Sandiego is the older character and Kim Possible took some cues from Carmen Sandiego, but then the new Carmen Sandiego takes a lot of cues from Kim Possible.
Yeah.
It's not as cheesy as Kim
how
Possible.
stuff keeps feeding into itself.
Exactly.
In genres.
It's this weird thing, and I think of the two shows that I watched with my niece, Totally Spies and Kim Possible, I have to say I preferred Kim Possible to Totally Spies. Totally Spies was a bit too playing on the fashionable teenage high school girl trope for my liking. Totally not my shtick, but my niece liked it, so we had to watch it. There are very few choices when kids are involved in the TV, in control of the TV. Especially when their grandparents can overrule anything you say.
I mean, it's slightly off topic, but big bugbear at the moment is Lion Guard. My kids are re-watching it all from the start when there's all these much superior kids shows I'm trying to steer them towards.
Yeah.
But
They will decide. You have no say. And that's basically it. I am really looking forward to seeing what happens in Carmen Sandiego's second season. So yeah.
I mean, so there's clear influences either way.
Yeah.
It sounds you enjoyed it enough to make it to the end of season 1.
I did enjoy it. I'll be honest, as I've said to you guys already, I kept expecting some weird pet to turn up, and I'm still holding out for a weird pet to turn up at some point in season 2 or 3. Don't tell me if it does or not. I want to be surprised.
No spoilers.
Every show should really have a cute animal sidekick.
Yeah, the naked mole rat in Kim Possible wasn't cute. It was a naked mole rat.
What was it? Was it a naked
mole rat? Google naked mole rat. You'll understand.
Twig and Hilda though. Yeah, I don't think you get animal sidekicks cuter.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably taking the prize. To be fair. So Amy, I don't know if Hilda's one of your picks actually for new shows.
So I have gotten into so many new shows, while the lockdown's been happening, but I think for one that's stuck with me through the whole lockdown because it only first started airing around about the time the first cases of this virus were even happening in the world, but it started airing then, and we've since got 2 whole seasons, and that's Harley Quinn.
Ooh, good call.
Yeah. So we've watched all through that, and I've done a full rewatch of it since season 2 finished. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of top 10s for animated shows released in 2020, and it's number 1 in a lot of them, and not without good reason. It's a really strong story, really heavily driven by its characters. obviously you've got the central sort of duo of Harley and Ivy, and anyone familiar with comics will know how tight those two are.
Yeah.
And yeah, that they play off each other so well. Yeah, you have the completely over enthusiastic and unrestrained Harley, and then like I've described Ivy before as my Mister turned up to 11.
See,
Wow.
Ivy,
Yeah.
do you know Ivy to me? Do you know who she reminds me of in Harley Quinn? She reminds me of Daria.
Yeah, I can see that. She's the one who's just sitting there,
Yeah.
and she's always like, no, this is a bad idea. Stop.
Yeah.
Think about this. And then Harley just goes and does the thing, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I only saw the first few episodes purely. I was enjoying it. It was purely because it stopped being available on the streaming service. But
Yeah.
it was what I liked about it was like her character grounding Harley Quinn, and like that was needed.
Yeah. The two of them really complement each other so well.
Oh God,
But
yeah.
also the rest of the cast. Clayface is an incredible performance.
I love Clayface.
Whoever Clayface is being.
I think the idea to turn Clayface into a thespian is one of the most genius moments in comic book history.
Absolutely.
I do not care what decade you're talking about in comic book history. Clayface being a thespian, not an actor, a thespian.
A thespian.
Yeah.
Yes. Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And yeah, you've got King Shark, who is just
Really good with computers.
yeah, and just such a generally all around decent guy.
Yeah. Again, this is what see for me. One of the things is DC animated stuff has always been superior to Marvel animated stuff for a long time. That's been the case, especially with their movies. But Harley Quinn was just raising the bar for me again.
Now, early on, I do think, like, the first couple of episodes, it's laying it on a bit thick.
Yeah.
And I think in a couple of places, it's trying to be like, hey, you like the Venture Brothers? We can do all the stuff that did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like really laying it on thick with, like, the amount of swearing in it, the amount of violence in it. A lot of that is amusing in like establishing Dr. Psycho's character as just this utterly terrible, thoroughly irredeemable misogynist prick. And I love that he doesn't like. This isn't a guy who gets redeemed. He sticks to his guns.
Yeah.
And continues to be just utterly despicable throughout the show, which is a useful reminder that you're like, you are watching a bunch of supervillains here. Although Ivy would point out, not a supervillain, an eco-terrorist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like how it takes those characters and does something with them that just all works so well. Yeah, and it's something that is just really rewatchable. Like I say, watched it all as it came out, and then went back and watched it all from the start in a massive binge.
Yeah.
Because it's just that good.
Yes, it is.
And you really appreciate a lot of it when you rewatch it as well.
Well,
there's details and...
Yeah, there's loads of little in-jokes that you just don't see the first time round, possibly because you're laughing at the jokes that are more obvious.
It's so good. It's easily sort of... It's probably the best new show of 2020, and out of all the new shows I've seen, it's the one I've really loved the most.
Tell you what did surprise me about the Harley Quinn TV series. Because I watched Batman and Harley Quinn, the movie, where Melissa Rauch voiced Harley Quinn. I thought she's really good as Harley Quinn. So when they said it was going to be Kelly Cuoco, who's also on The Big Bang Theory, going to be voicing Harley Quinn in the TV series, I was a bit hesitant. I thought Melissa Rauch...
She's so good, though.
She is brilliant as Harley Quinn.
And as well, she does a good job. Because, of course, you have the odd bit where she's talking to herself as well. And where you get her in the flashbacks. And she does a really good job in that role as her as well.
Yeah.
I thought there was from the few episodes I've seen, there was something joyous about her swearing, and just her unleashing.
I think part of that is because after doing 12 seasons of The Big Bang Theory where she's not allowed to swear, and before that 8 Simple Rules, she's been dying to just cut loose on TV.
Yeah, I'm not normally kind of stuff, but there's something really cathartic and hilarious about her. Just it just works somehow.
Yeah,
her performance is fun.
The thing is, a lot of what's happening in that first season is a whole bunch of catharsis for her.
Yeah.
And so you really relate to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, it's non-stop fun, and it has a bunch of serious stuff as well. That when it gets you with the heart-wrenching things, it really gets you.
It also has certain...
And that surprises me.
Sorry, you were saying?
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
No, when you... I don't want to spoil it, season 2, but there is some stuff there that, for a lot of people, resonates really hard.
Yeah. One of the other things I was surprised at, though, was... there are things you can learn if you are an aspiring supervillain in training from the Harley Quinn series. Things like if you're going to kill off a clan, get rid of them all. Don't leave some.
Oh, Queen of Fables.
Yeah.
So, having gone through a bunch of shows where we were just screaming at the screen no, kill this person. If you don't kill them, they're just gonna come back. They're just gonna do something worse. A few episodes later, they come back. They do something much worse. It ups the stakes. Everything, and you're just like, if you just killed them, when you had the chance.
So, I mean, it was just delightful, just having the Queen of Fables just going, no, this is what you do. Otherwise, they do come back and do something.
Yeah.
Someone actually acknowledging that little nugget.
Queen of Fables, though, that's the thing. Stories with a moral to them. That's her thing. So she is genre savvy by nature.
Yeah.
So Joe, what have you had that's been something you've got into for the first time?
Right, so this is a very uncool pick. That's my big warning before I launch into this. There were some particular shows, but we're covering them in other videos. I watched Avatar and Korra for the first time, which are fantastic. But we've got other shows from Dreaming Machine talking about those, and Dragon Prince as well. But I think that was another fantastic series. But honestly, what I've been watching most of recently is Disney films in general. It's a general pick. Specifically, we've got Disney Plus as a family. The Disney films I didn't see or in my head are underrated and deserve to be re-seen, if that makes sense. So I've got things like Basil, Great Mouse Detective, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Just the typical ones people say are underrated. Black Cauldron, that kind of thing.
Ooh, Black Cauldron.
Well, I was very negative on that film. But the other two were great, I thought. Like Hunchback and Great Mouse Detective.
I liked the Black Cauldron.
It's just been fun, Well, it has lots of story issues.
Ooh, controversial opinion.
Well, I know why I liked it. It's because I'm a fan of the books. So the Chronicles of Brennan by Lloyd Alexander, I'm a big fan of anyway. So,
I know lots of people who like it.
Well, I think it was the kind of thing where it became this cult thing, and it was viewed as being
yeah,
Oh, you had
Exactly.
it overhyped from all the
Yeah.
people who consider it a cult classic.
yes, that sounds.
that had very high expectations.
Yeah, I know so many people who looked at the Black Cauldron and just immediately thought, "What the hell is Gurgi? I don't understand this creature. Why is it in the story? Oh, it's dead. No, it's alive again."
Don't get me started on him. I couldn't stand him. I found him horrendous. I was celebrating his demise. I mean, things like the pig tripping out at the start of the movie was weirdly interesting. I mean, the main guy I hated. I don't know what the girl was doing with him. I just I'll put that aside. Like a lot of these films I have revisited, like things I didn't see the first time, like Hercules, were actually great in a way, like really interesting. Like even though they're quite kiddish, I never probably seen Bambi before. I couldn't believe how dark that gets. It like obviously that's that famous scene in it, but the last 10 minutes are incredibly dark as well.
You
Like,
hadn't
even that
seen Bambi. Wow.
properly, no. It was just like as a kid, like for a certain generation, you had certain VHSs that would go on repeat. So it just depended on which happened to be your Disney VHSs, I think.
See?
Oh, I mean that you can get into a whole rant
Yeah,
about how Disney would like only release the VHS releases of any film for a limited time
yeah,
and then stop selling that film.
yeah. I find it interesting how you can gauge the age.
Yeah,
of...
which sorry.
Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying which Disney films you had on video as a kid generally depended on specifically when your parents had you,
Yeah,
because you'd hit a certain age and they'd buy some, and if you'd missed the release window, it was like another like 7 or 8 years until that film got another release on video.
and I've always found it interesting how you can tell which generation a Disney fan is from as to how upset they are over Mufasa's death. If they're mildly upset, then they're probably of the generation that watched Bambi and realized that we're the evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like some of these things. I think I did see Basil the Great Mouse Detective as a kid, so that was a revisiting technically. Yeah. And what was great was it holds up so well. Like it wasn't just me inflating it in my head like through nostalgia. But yeah, things I hadn't seen properly before. Like even CGI. Like I saw Zootropolis. I was actually thinking of doing a separate underrated Disney films video. So I saw Zootropolis with low expectations, loved it. And then I googled it and realized it's one of the most critically acclaimed, high box office earning films of all time. So obviously, I was just asleep in a cave somewhere when it came out, or Zoopolis or whatever it's called. But like, so yeah, it's just like it's just been catching up on like the random like Disney films I missed out on really, and it's been weirdly interesting, and to see how my kids react to it as well.
I mean, with the Black Cauldron, I know why there are so many story issues. Is because in the Chronicles of Brennan there are 5 books: the Book of Three, the Black Cauldron, the Castle of the Taran Wanderer, and the High King. And what Disney did, in their infinite wisdom and their ego, they thought, okay, these 5 books, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the first 2 books, we're going to mash them together in just, in the most basic way. We're going to mash them together because this book has the Horned King. The Book of Three is where the Horned King is. The Black Cauldron doesn't even appear in the first book because that's in the Black Cauldron. And so we're going to take these two
See,
two
now
books.
I'm just picturing a Chronicles of Narnia adaptation that like starts with the silver chair.
Yeah. That's effectively what Disney did with the Black Cauldron, and I think it's such a shame because it's such a good story all the way through. Arwen, Arthur, and Argok don't appear in. They kind of only mildly appear in the Book of Three. They don't properly. They're not proper like dyed-in-the-wool characters who interact properly until the Black Cauldron, but they are in the Book of Three because and the Book of Three is literally about the Horned King.
I mean, in fairness, I can totally, and I've clearly touched a nerve with the Black Cauldron comment, so like just to like reassure you,
it's one of my
the set and the character, the overall story. I can see how if there was some coherence in how they were put together, e.g., the original book series, I imagine that makes total sense to me. Like one of the things people said was underrated about the film. The skeletons marching at the end, like the darkness of that scene, unusually dark for Disney, that does hold up on its own really well. So like, there were great moments in it. So I can see how a book series where you flesh it out and have some coherence to the story and the characters are more fleshed out, and see how that.
Not only that,
better.
I mean, the whole thing about Gurgi and the whole thing with Gurgi throwing himself in the cauldron and everything like that. Yeah, that whole bit. Right, that whole bit, it wasn't actually Gurgi who did it in the book. It was a different character in the book. Gurgi doesn't do it.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a whole recording just about animated films that need to be remade as an animated series.
Yes.
Like has been happening with so many other adaptations of things lately.
Yeah, I mean,
so many things have been getting live action adaptations. We need that.
Yeah.
For more animated stuff.
No, definitely. I mean, you see that in Tales from Earthsea.
Yes.
And Studio Ghibli, that like got a lot for the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it trimmed down loads of the story and ignored loads of details about Earthsea in general. Earthsea's such an amazingly realized world.
Mm.
I mean, I think just to cap off the Disney stuff as well, like there was some there was some really interesting, like relatively unheralded films, like Lilo and Stitch is great, but I think that's already got quite a lot of acclaim anyway. But things like Treasure Planet is a really interesting film in its own way. I mean, it's like peak Disney in terms of from an animation perspective, you know. Like, you know, it has a lot of issues, but Atlantis has some good, like, until the last act, like the characters and the animation like is really interesting too. So it's a lot of merit. So just, you know, there's a lot of merit in like the relatively unseen things I've been finding.
Well, if you get a shot, like I say, if you're going through and getting the most out of that Disney Plus subscription, Tronoprising.
Yeah.
That should be on your list.
Didn't Treasure Planet come out around the same time as Titan AE? Was that around that time?
Oh, yeah. Titan AE is so good.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Titan AE is great. That's
a shockingly underrated film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with the Golden. Like, I totally agree with the cult fandom about Titan AE. It's great. So there's so many like great films available. You know, thank God for streaming, in this current situation. So that's been a really fun discussion. Hope everyone has enjoyed listening in. We'd love to hear your feedback about things that have been helping you get through lockdown. And it's bye from me.
And bye from me.
And bye from me.
Thanks, guys.